Welcome, race fans. Brooklyn, Michigan, Brooklyn International Speedway is the spot for tonight's race for the 3 Wide Racing eSports League. Welcome in to the ERN booth alongside Michael Sheffield. I'm Steve Kerpel, and Mike, 2 miles around this big super speedway, a lot of different lines you could run. We could see 3 to 4 wide here tonight. What are your thoughts going into the race?
I'm really looking forward to tonight. Michigan is a track that's going to bring drafting. It's going to bring tire wear. It's going to bring pit strategy. And it's going to bring all the above here tonight. And, Michigan always, you're going to have the draft runs at the beginning. You might have some separation there in the middle. But always at the end of the race, it's going to be tight there. And people are going to be battling, for that win here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. We should see some definitely. The draft is going to be huge. We know a big track like this, 3 to 4 grooves, really, runnable grooves. We probably won't see too many guys using that real, low groove like you would at a mile and a half. But second groove up, pretty much all the way up to the wall is runnable here. But let's take a look at, what we're dealing with out on the track. And see what these guys are in for tonight. So, 77 degree air temp, 51% humidity. Now that's going to push us to about 106 right now, out there on the track, Mike. So this is a hot track. I mean, this is a day race, so this track is going to get even hotter, than it is right now. I mean, tell everybody at home what's that going to do to the tires?
Well, as the temperatures rise on the track, tire wear is going to wear a little bit quicker. The track's going to get a little slicker. And of course, with the tires wearing off there, the trucks are going to get a little looser here until it cools down a bit. You're looking tonight about 32 to 35 laps for a fuel run. They got 3 tire changes and 80 laps. I don't think tires are going to be an issue here. It's going to be how hard they're going to push the truck from the gate. And I expect, the first run possibly to see, them really pushing the truck. And then after they pit, I expect them, evaluate their first run, make a decision from there of how much they want to push the truck. And, as we've seen before, you might have that one guy is doing my favorite thing to do, save a little tire and show it at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be interesting. So buckle up. We're in for a ride as these guys are getting ready to go qualifying here. We'll get to see your favorite driver. A lot of new drivers in the field tonight, Mike. So a lot of questions, I guess I want to say. Not too many answers right now, but maybe we'll have some answers closer to the night, as we're going to flip on over here to qualifying and get things kicked off with George Rincon. Gonna rock his usual Dale Earnhardt Sr. inspired number 28 Goodwrench Chevy Silverado as he comes gets his up to speed lap going right here. And I'll tell you what, Mike, Michigan kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Daytona race where you either want to qualify on the pole or you want to qualify in the back.
Well, and here is going to be a track that, as we mentioned, draft's going to play a huge effect. But on the same note, we talked about saving tires. Well, you're going to be able to have to save, but you're going to have to be able to save and catch the draft and stick with the guys in front of you. Because if you get a pack of 6 or 7 trucks here and you get a big enough gap, they're going to walk away. So, it's kind of what I call a hybrid. Really high-speed track, but also, the tires wear here, whereas, Daytona, Talladega, you don't get that tire wear.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to mention real quick before we get anything further, we got Mike Everidge running a Davey Allison-inspired Haviline paint. And I'll tell you what, Mike, this is one we're going to be showcasing here tonight because that is a really sharp-looking paint he's got on tonight.
Yeah, that's a outstanding paint job there. He really brought that to the track this week. I've seen a lot of that, over the last couple weeks in the various couple leads. And, today is the reason that a lot of people are running that is today is the anniversary of, I believe, of his death. 93, I want to believe.
I believe you are correct. As we'll take a look at the leaderboard here, Mike. So far, AJ DiMarzo finds himself out on the pole. Not too much of a surprise. He's been great all season long. But, don't count some of these other guys out. Don't count this guy out right here, Carlos Ramos. First lap put in a 41.68. And, he's trying to better himself, doing a really good job in qualifying, just having some trouble during the race, but keep an eye out for him.
Yeah, and as you see the times go up on the board, I suspect top 5 probably going to be separated, by maybe just over a tenth, maybe up to, top 10, maybe tenth and a half, maybe 2/10 max. So speeds, they're going to throw that first lap away. And then, as you mentioned, it could be anybody's race here. AJ DiMaggio has done outstanding jobs, won a lot of races this year, but that's the one thing we've seen in this league week after week after week. You never know what's going to happen. You never know who's going to be at the front at the end.
Yeah, it's, something, we've talked about all season long, folks, but hang on, buckle up. We're going to go 80 laps around here tonight. But first, we're going to switch on over to our national anthem and honor our nation. And when we come back, we'll have your starting lineup for tonight's 80-lapper from Michigan. Stay with us.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets spread glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Welcome back in, sim racing fans, to Michigan International Speedway for tonight's 3-wide racing eSports League race here tonight. And let's get right into your starting lineup. On the pole with a 40.040, AJ DiMarzo, multiple wins on the year. He's going to be tough. Nick Rader on his outside in that 88. Row number 2 will have newcomer Ricky Wettenberg in the 55. On his outside will be the 82, Mike Everidge. Row number 3, another newcomer tonight, Kelly Potter in the 68. On his outside will be Caleb Elswick in the 66, last week's winner. Row number 4, Carlos Ramos in the 21, and he'll have Kelly Cool in the 01 on his outside, another new driver. And George Rincon will roll off 9th in the 28.
Starting 10th in the number 98 is Cornelius Brown. Your 11th place starter, Robert McMillan, will be piling the number 7 truck. 12th will be Josh Bittner in the number 84. 13th will be Ernest King in the number 24. Starting 14th is Andrew Hefner in the number 46. Starting 15th, Jess Vaught in the number 33. Your 16th place starter is Dave Mayberry in the number 37. 17th is Peter Harbour in the number 444. And running out the field is Ricky Hennard in the number 79 machine.
And that's how they will roll off here tonight. And buckle up, folks, because I just got word from league owners that tonight's race winner will receive $25. So pretty nice little bonus for these guys to go out and try to grab a win, especially guys who haven't grabbed a win so far, Mike. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a little extra momentum there, a little extra initiative to go out here and win this thing tonight. Looking at qualifying, it's at the grid. There's guys that we've seen up front every week, kind of mixed in the middle there. So, qualifying is important here. But with 80 laps, you want to get the pole, but it can happen from anywhere. So, that's one thing about this track that I love.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We could see, a driver from the back win this thing. We don't know how cautions are going to line up. We've got 18 guys in the field, so we have a pretty decent sized field for a Michigan race. So I'm pretty excited to get this thing going here. I think these drivers are fired up. They got them, trying to get them tires warmed up here on this formation lap, and we're going to go do some racing here as Pace Truck's coming into turn number 4. And it's going to be AJ DeMarzo and Nick Rader. These guys have been pretty dominant, so we'll see how they could get this race kicked off as Chevy Silverado Pace Truck dips down on the pit road. It's going to be the number 5. Can he rack up another one? Here we go. Michigan International Speedway. AJ DeMarzo is going to lead them down, and we are green.
Going into green here, AJ DeMarzo leading them at the line. Nick Rader with a huge run here on the high side. It's going to be a battle as they go into turn number 1 as the field's still side by side all the way through about 15th.
Yeah, AJ gets able to get past Nick. He's going to tuck him behind AJ right there, and they're going to try to separate themselves from the field. This is a good opportunity, to really separate yourselves. As you see that 88, he is hooked right up to that 5 truck.
Yeah, he's hooked right up, and you see that momentum there that he was able to get off that high side. That's what you're going to see all through the night here tonight, is you're going to have a truck on the bottom. He's going to get that run in the middle of the corner, but then coming out and down the straightaway, that guy on the outside is going to carry so much speed here, and that's going to be the key here is momentum throughout the night. Who can carry the most is going to be the guy in the front. Is AJ DeMarzo is still leading them there 1 and 2. As you can see now, for an example, back the 55 machine, I believe that is in 3rd place. He kind of slid up the track there, get a little high run. He's going to suck up on the draft and try to close up on the 88 truck here.
Yeah, and that's something we're going to see, I think. We're seeing the 5 and the 88 right now running that bottom line. But I'll tell you what, that middle to high line carries a lot of corner exit speed. And don't be surprised later in the run when, you're trying to save some tires. That's the line you want to run, and it carries so much speed on corner exit. You could really get a run on some guys.
Yeah, as you burn the tires off here, 1 and 2, if you kind of lift a little earlier than normal and kind of take a wide arc and get the truck down to the bottom, you can get back in the throttle so good here. And depending on the setup, might get a little loose there early in the run, but there's going to be guys here that are going to be mastering it. As it looks like now the 82 machine of Mike Everidge making a move on the inside. It's going to be hard to make this pass here with the momentum that they're going to have on the high side, though.
Yeah, he is, but he's going to tuck in front at 68, and the 68 is going to elect to, I think, get behind him. Actually, no, he's going to look to the inside, and they're going to be 3 wide as they go down into turn 1.
Yeah, 3 wide now battling for the 3rd position here. You got the 55, the newcomer, Ricky Wettenberg on the outside. He's probably going to be able to hold that 3rd position as it's 3 wide for 4th now. Looks like the 68 machine is going to drop back now, and it looks like we got a battle now between Everidge and I'm trying to see who that is. That Josh Bittner on the outside.
Yep, Josh Bittner, newcomer this week, and I'll tell you what, he's doing a pretty good job at that 68. Boy, he really wants to get in there, kind of force himself in there 3 wide as they come down the front straightaway, and I do believe that he's going to be able to get clear of the 28 machine.
Yeah, Kelly Potter driving it hard in there. Saw an opening, taking advantage of it. He's working to the bottom side now. He's battling for that 3rd position here, but the run's going to go on the outside with this draft. Is almost a little bit of contact there. is these trucks are going to shuffle around as they come off turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, they sure are. And I'm about to tell you what, I was really close right there from being a disaster. But I'll tell you what, the guy that I'm most impressed with right now, it has to be the 84, Josh Bittner. I mean, he's kind of running that high line, and he's congested. He doesn't really have a whole lot of space around him, and he's doing a pretty good job of keeping that truck steady. He likes to run that high line, and he continues to do so.
Well, here's going to take a lot of discipline to just run it. As you see the 68 now, he's pushing his way as hard as he can towards the front. But the harder he pushes to the front, the more he goes to the bottom and stays in that throttle, the more he's burning tires. So, you got a lot of these guys, like the 5 DiMarzio, Raider, in the 84, machine of Josh Bittner, the 55 Wettenberg, they're all staying up there kind of towards the top. They know what's going to happen here if you overdrive the truck too early.
Right, and we now have Kelly Potter just shoots right by for a lead. Right.
Yeah, he just took advantage there of a good run. He gotten it going down to 1 and 2. He drops to the inside, takes the lead over from AJ DiMarzio, and he's going to try to pull away. DiMarzio gets a huge run on the backstretch, challenges back on the inside here through 3 and 4. He's going to have the momentum. He's going to pull up and regain the lead as you see the 88 of Nick Rader coming down on the bottom side. Little bobble there on the outside there from Kelly Potter, but they able to keep it straight here as they heading off into turn number 1.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, if you're just tuning in, man, we're seeing a race like there's 5 laps to go, and we're only 8 laps into this thing. So nothing but exciting racing from the drop of the green flag, as we have AJ DiMarzio was able to regain the lead from Kelly Potter, but Kelly Potter making a big charge up through the field, and Josh Bittner, we talked about him a couple of minutes ago, as we have Kelly Potter looking to the inside. He's up 7 spots from the start of this thing, Mike.
Yeah, you talk about him. Now you talk about last week's winner we were highly impressed with, and that was Caleb Elswick. He's worked his way. He's up in 6th position. He's riding that high side. He's probably buying his time. It looks like the 84, I couldn't tell, it's a little contact there, or maybe he dropped down to try to get this run here on the inside. But there's a lot of battling here, and just noticed look like some rear end damage there on the number 28 of George Rincon. I don't know what happened there, but maybe a little contact early on the start, or maybe during the draft. It's hard to say.
Oh boy, that looks like he got waylaid from somebody. I mean, that thing is really pushed in. That's really going to affect that truck, especially at a track like here. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. But back up front, it's back to being the AJ and Nick show. As you know, we've seen a lot of this, throughout this season, and we'll see. AJ.
Well, right now we got Ernest King on pit road here. It looks like he's got a little damage on the truck, so interesting to see what's going to happen here.
Yeah, I'm curious to see as well. As you're right. Our Ernest King is down on pit road, and I'm wondering if he wasn't the other end of where George Rincon got that rear end damage. I'm wondering if they got together.
The horrible thing about here, any front end damage, you do any radiator damage, you're going to blow your motor, especially here with these RPMs that you're going to be carrying.
Yeah, now these guys do get a fast repair, so they do have an opportunity to go down pit road and get a brand new truck essentially. But I mean, with only being 11 laps into the race, Mike, I don't think it's the time you want to be using a fast repair. No,
not probably this early. You want to try to hold out you got. Looks like I couldn't tell right now that the top 2 might be battling a little bit here, or they're gonna. It's hard to determine. It looks like they're riding together right now, trying to separate themselves from the rest of the field. But don't look. Who's in third right now, working his way up to the front. That's last week's winner, Caleb Elswick. He's up 3 positions from just 2 laps ago when I was talking about him.
Yeah, Caleb making a charge right now, and he's got that 84 Josh Bittner. He's up 8 spots. If those guys could link up, I'll tell you what, that would be a force to be reckoned with, because these are 2 guys who have didn't start in the back, but I mean they are on the move.
Well, and I just looking at the times right now, 40.16 for the leader, 40.12 for second. Caleb Elswick with a 39.97. A bunch of drivers in the high 39s there, 3rd through 5th. So as I expected, the top 5 trucks are going to link right back up here. And, you're looking right now at Kelly Gill in 6th. He's going to try to grab onto here. So that advantage is, there's two, the first place and second place had there a couple laps ago is shrinked and gone away now.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is, as we see the 88, kind of peeking his nose out. And I'm curious if he wants to battle for the lead or if he's just trying to get a little bit of clean air on that radiator, try to cool it down. Because, just like, out of super speedway, Talladega, Daytona, these trucks will run hot.
Yeah, and you talk about momentum. The 84 there got on the inside as we got a truck in the wall back there. I'm trying to say, it looks like it's going to be Kelly Kuhl, and then got into the wall there coming out of 3 and 4 is, the 84, the last lap by, tried to make a little bit of move on the high side there, realized he was not going to be able to, stay clear of the wall, lost a little bit of momentum there, did not make contact, but he just fell right back to 5th, and, he's regained his momentum now. He's got back in line with these leaders, so no harm, no foul for him with the draft here.
Yeah, that's pretty lucky as, back up front. Don't look now. Here comes on the outside of Caleb Elswick in that 66, looking challenge Nick Rader here for second.
Yeah, and that's going to force A.J. DiMarzo to come up, leave Rader down at the bottom. 66 machine is going to make his charge on the high side here. You almost got a battle here. You got Rader going for the lead down here, but watch out for the 66 on corner exit here. He's going to have the momentum. I suspect he's going to probably jump out to the lead here by the time they get to 3 and 4.
Yeah, big run out of the corner for that 66 should catapult him to the lead, and being run on that outside, he's gonna be okay. He's saving a little bit of tire running up there, and I mean that's really the preferred line as far as corner exit. That's where you want to be.
Yeah, and if you're battling on the inside with the guy on your outside there, you want to get it down in the corner. You want to get it to the bottom, and you want to get in the gas as fast as you can. That guy on the outside is going to carry momentum. But as you're coming back up the track with the guy there, it kind of limits how much play you've got, how much room you've got between you and the wall. So it's going to limit how much drive off the corner you're going to have. Looks like we got a bobble back there between Wettenberg there and Radar, but they're both able to keep it together there. And that's one thing here. The air is going to play a huge effect if you're behind another truck here. Just the air shifting as you're going in the corners can tighten your truck up, can loosen it up. So it all depends on how closely that guy behind you is running you.
Yeah, absolutely. As Caleb Elswick, I'll tell you what, really, really impressive showing last week. Kind of just winning it on the last lap, and he's showing that he ain't no one and done type of guy. He's up here, racing with the best of these guys. We've seen A.J. DiMarzo, win multiple times this year. Nick Rader's been up there, a lot of the races too. So this 66 team that they could get out there and race.
Yeah, we talked about Ernest King, using his fast repair early, but I just going back and looking at him right now. Looking at the difference, we're talking 13 lap fresher tires, roughly 12, 13 laps, I want to say, and the difference in time is huge. So, this day's green pit strategy comes into play. You might see some undercut. There's all kinds of strategy that can be played out here because we're 17 laps into this run, so I'm expecting we're halfway through a fuel run right now.
Yeah, I would say that's probably pretty accurate, halfway through a run. And I mean, we are caution free so far, so that is playing a big factor into this thing. And you're right, will an undercut come into play? And I think, if you want to be there at the end and you're not leading the race, the undercut is your friend, but it could trap you if you get a caution. That's something that you just got to think about.
And as we say that Ernest King's going to get his lap back the hard way, you can see the difference in speed here. But here's going to be the problem. Right now, you need a teammate. If you want to undercut, you do not want to come in alone. You're going to need that draft. You're going to want that help. And as many guys as you can get, if you can get 2 or 3 more guys to go with you, the better off you are. And because if one of you makes a mistake on pit road, it could cost, if it's 2 trucks, it could cost you both. It is as our good friend would say, Craig Burns always says, that's the battle within the battle is the battle on pit road.
You're right, and you have to treat this race as if it were a super speedway race. I mean, you have to have friends out there. You're gonna need guys to draft with. You can't pit alone. If you're gonna undercut, you gotta make sure you got guys that are willing to go with you, or you're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, and the racer in me, I'm doing the math right now in my head, is the 5 and the 84 got really close there and coming through 3 and 4. I don't think there was any contact. Good job by both of them to maintain it and get back up to speed here. But the math inside of my head, I'm sitting here, okay, 66 laps. You're gonna have to pit 2 more times. I know that. There's no way you're gonna be able to stretch, 33 laps, and to lap 66, get another 14, 15 laps out of it. So in my head right now, I'm thinking, okay, if I come, I know I got to pit one more time, twice more actually, then I'm going to come early, go ahead and get my tires, try to get off cycle from everybody else and maybe get away from them. But, it's always hard to do unless you're in the situation. These guys have got spotters, they got crew chiefs talking in the ears, telling them, this is our game plan, we got to stick to it. So, it's always easy to spectate and talk about what we see, but you never know what these guys are going through in the truck right now.
No, as at 84 and the 5 are really close again as they come through turns 1 and 2, and I think they got a handle on it now as we got a truck into the wall. I do believe that was the 98 Cornelius Brown we've seen catch the wall coming out of turn 2 there, and yeah, he's got a big old stripe right down the side of that truck. So we'll see if he could recover from that. He'll be able to use a fast repair when he comes down. But I mean, your top 5 right now, seem to be in a groove. They all seem to want the lead, but with 57 laps to go in this thing, I think this group should start focusing on, saving a little bit of tire, stretching that, get to that first pit stop and just see what kind of happens.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the number 98 right now to determine probably how much aero damage he's got there. And, coming around last time by in 3 and 4, it looked like it got a little loose up there towards the wall. And, it could be a prime example of what happened there with a little bit of aero damage on one side. These 2-mile super speedway or super speedways or anywhere that really carries a draft really has an effect with aero damage. You can, if you're behind somebody, you can get pulled by that truck or that car, but if you're right in the front of them, it's going to kill both of you because the wind flow is just not going to go around with that aero damage.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. As we take a look at Josh Bittner now making a charge, trying to grab that second spot from Nick Rader, and he's going to hook up with that 66 and be able to pull himself past him.
He has just been consistently pushing his way towards the front, slow and steady pace here. And, he could have just not fallen off as much as everybody else is. He's just running a good pace, and, he's latched right now to the back of Caleb Elswick in the 66, and he's going to look here a little bit on the inside. He's going to try to get down to the bottom, getting the throttle a little bit more, get a little bit more speed here coming through 3 and 4, coming down at 3 and 4. He's going to try to take the advantage. You might see an old slide job here coming through 3 and 4 if he can clear him going in the corner.
Yeah, I would say this would be a prime slide job. Looks like he's got the distance, and there it is. I mean, that's just how you do it, and it was done to perfection, and we will have a new race.
We got a truck in the wall and one in the grass right there, but they do a great job of saving it there. Couldn't tell who that was there.
Yeah, I couldn't get a glimpse of that either, but
looked like it was Andrew Hefner in the wall there a little bit, and Ricky Wettenberg there was on his inside. Both drivers do an outstanding job of gathering it back up, though.
Yeah, great job by both drivers there. And I'll tell you what, even though Andrew Hefner, I mean, it seems like he might have just had a little incident there. He's up 10 spots from the start of this thing, Mike.
Yeah, he's one of the drivers I was talking about in the grid that, I saw his name there towards the back of the field. I'm like, well, I expect probably him to be up towards the front. We've seen him run so well over the last few weeks. And all these guys run good, and that's the thing here is you never know who it's going to be, at the end of this thing. And green flag strategy here in Michigan, still the opportunity is there. It still could be anybody's race.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, we are coming up on 28 laps, in the books out of an 80 lap race here. We've seen a lot of big moves. We see guys taking some chances, taking it 3 wide. And, now we're really starting to see things kind of settle out, fan out. We're going to have, a couple battles for the lead. But besides that, everybody's kind of really settled in. We have our front pack, we have our mid pack, and now we have, guys running in the back. And I think that's really going to, if you're a mid or backpack guy right now, you really got to start thinking about your pitch strategy, as opposed to kind of racing everybody on a track, because that's how you're going to get up there. That's how you're going to gain that track position is, either short pitting or hoping for a caution or something like that to gain that track position.
Yeah, if you're in the back right now, short pitting would be a good idea. The earlier you do it right now, you're in the window, I would say, to short pit. If they're going to come at, say, 32, that will give you an option for, a good 2, 3, maybe 4 laps to make up a little bit of time, because, fresh tires are going to be so much faster. That's the thing with short pitting. You're going to get the advantage there for, a couple laps until those leaders pit. When they pit, it neutralizes it back out. You're not going to have the advantage. They're actually going to be a little bit faster when you come out. But the idea is to close that gap up a little bit, or maybe if you get a long enough run, you get a big enough jump that they'll come out of the pits and you'll still be in front of them.
Yeah, and that's the thing to think about here, Mike, is this is a big track. I mean, you can really, hit pit road and still be on the lead lap with leaders staying out there. So that's something to keep an eye on, as we've got 2 guys down on pit road. Looks like the 28 George Rincon and the 01 of Kelly Keel, as pit road's starting to become a little bit of a busy place right now.
And we just had a lead change there last lap, 3 and 4. The 66 of Elswick was able to drive it to the bottom and get enough momentum to close the door back on Josh Bittner to retake the lead here. Bittner's going to be looking a little bit lower there through 3 and 4. These guys are battling at the front now, coming to lap number 31, and Bittner's going to have the run here on the high side. I'm wondering, and Caleb Elswick, I think, is checking that bottom to see, well, maybe let me see what I can do now, so later in the run I know what to expect down there towards the end of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. And, these guys are doing their thing. And what that's allowing, though, is that 88 truck, Nick Rader, it's allowing him to pretty much kind of catch these guys' draft. And it's going to eventually pull him up the longer these two battle.
Yeah, and you got AJ DeMarzo and Carlos Ramos now in the pit right now, too. So AJ's come in for service, 30 laps into it. So, I'm expecting these guys here, the leaders, within, I'd say, the next 3 to 5 laps max, you should be seeing them come down pit road.
Yeah, and this is, we're looking probably 10 guys that have in pit. And if you're, I would say anywhere from 6th to 10th, this is a prime opportunity to come in, short pit these guys, and try to gain some of that track position and line yourself up for your second stop, because we know that it's definitely going to be a 2-stop race.
Yeah, and as we come to lap number 33, your leader is going to be Josh Bittner. Caleb Elswick is going to be second. Third will be Nick Rader. Fourth will be Andrew Hefner. Fifth will be Jess Vault. Sixth will be Ricky Wettenberg. Seventh will be Peter Harbour. 8th, Mike Everidge. 9th, Cornelius Brown. And right in your top 10 is Ricky Hennard. So you see some shuffling there. You see some guys up quite a few positions there. Andrew Hefner, as we talked about, up 10 positions. Josh Bittner, your leader, up 11. Jess Vault, running a 5th, is up 10 positions. So, with these pit stops coming, it's going to shuffle things around here.
Oh, yeah, it sure is. I mean, for guys like AJ DeMarzo, and as we see our leader, the 84 Josh Bittner, he has Caleb Elswick came down with him, and they're going to make their stops, and that's going to cycle everything out to Andrew Hefner taking the lead.
Yeah, Caleb Elswick, Josh Bittner, Nick Ritter, Peter Harbor, and Mike Everidge all hit pit road there. So that's going to be a good group of trucks. There are 5 trucks with a lot of speed that are going to probably be able to work together here and to work their way back up towards the front.
Right, and we're looking at Andrew Hefner. We see the 5, AJ DeMarzo. He was the first guy a lap down. He gets his lap back as Andrew Hefner's going to bring that thing down on pit road right now, and AJ DeMarzo may cycle out. To be when everything's all said and done, it might be cycled out to AJ DeMarzo with with the undercut there. So I mean, a good strategy.
Yeah, it's all going to matter here. With the undercut was a great strategy. He's going to be ahead of the 66 machine. I'm just looking now to see who he's around right now that possibly could be on the same lap, and it looks like he's going to cycle back around in front of Raider too. So this should put him, well, actually the 84 machine of Josh Bittner had a great pit stop there. So he might actually cycle right back around to be the leader again.
Oh, as we got trouble coming into pit road, the 33. The 33 of Jesse Vaughn dumps it, coming into pit road, locks the brakes up. And boy, I will tell you what, that is a tough break. Let's see if we can't pull that back up and just see what happened there. Oh, it looks like the 66 makes contact with him as he's trying to get slowed down to come down on the pit road. And I'll tell you what, Mike, that's tough. That's tough. It really
That's
is.
so tough, and these, you're carrying so much momentum trying to get down to pit road here anyway, and I don't know exactly what happened there, but it just gets to the inside wall. Thankfully, he's got a fast repair. The unfortunate thing is he's going to lose so much time with that spin and that contact. He's coming back out on track, looks like now, so we'll have to see what happens.
And the thing that, worries me too is the 66 of Caleb Elswick. I mean, he was on the end of that too. Where he got definitely got front end damage from that. As well, we're gonna have to keep an eye on him because he already pit. So he pit on lap 33. So that's gonna be interesting.
Well, this makes it interesting here. Ricky Wettenberg was able to get to lap number 37, almost lap 38. So I'm betting a lot of these other drivers are taking note of how much longer he was able to stay out on fuel. So, I'm not sure if he was in fuel saving mode or what, but that's going to be a note that might help everybody out later on. You want to go as long as you can, but I'm afraid he might have waited too long here with the older tires.
Yeah, that, and we see the 98 right now. Cornelius Brown, the only truck that hasn't pit. He's still going. He's on lap 38. I'll be interested, Mike. Does he try to push it to past that 40 mark and try to make this a one-stop race for him? I don't know if you could do it though.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can quite do 40 here. He did have a little bit of aero damage on the truck earlier, so his speeds are way down right now. He's losing speed right here. He's trying to get pit road, or he might actually be out of fuel here. It's hard to say. He's gaining a little bit of speed. Looked like he just let that group of trucks go by, so he might actually be trying to make it here to lap 40.
Well, I'll tell you what, we are on board with him right now, Mike, and he is on the clutch, going into that corner, killing that motor, trying to save fuel, trying to get to that past, 40 mark, but that truck is sputtering. He is sputtering on the backstretch, and he is running out of fuel as he dips down to the bottom.
Yeah, 39 coming to 40 here. He's going to see if he can maintain enough momentum here. He should be able to get it all the way down to pit road, which will not trigger the caution here. But, it just a little bit too far, push it that one extra little lap, and, he's losing a lot of time right now.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what, that's about as bad as, wrecking on coming on the pit road or sliding through your boxes, running out of fuel because, not only do you have to try to coast into your box, but you're coming in the pit road a lot slower than you ever would. So it's a gamble. It really is. It's a gamble, and unfortunately for Cornelius Brown, doesn't pay off.
Well, and we mentioned he had a tremendous stop on pit road. Josh Bittner is back out front with almost a 2-second lead here back to Nick Rader. And, if Nick Rader and the next guy I see with him would be AJ DiMarzio, if they get together, they'll be able to gain some time here. But, Bittner ran a 39.78 last time by. I'm waiting for Nick's time here. His last lap was a 40.10. DiMarzio with a 40. I apologize. 40.74 for the leader, 40.88 for Rader, and 41.07 for AJ DiMarzio that time by. So, they could be in extra fuel saving mode here too as well, and to see how much how many laps they can get out of it. Because if a caution comes out, it might be able to push them to the point that they'll be able to make it.
Yeah, it's very, very, very interesting right now. And yeah, if you're the 88, I mean, you're like, man, I want to get that 5 up here with me, but Nick is on 3-lap better tires than AJ, but they're going to have to work together. I mean, because nobody's catching nobody's draft right now. That's the problem. I mean, we could run around 100 times in circle, and I don't think he would catch them. It's you got to have somebody to work with at a track like this.
Yeah, you've got to have somebody to work with, and if you've got that somebody to work with, you can make up time here like crazy. The draft here working together, will help. But as a leader, or is the guy in third, you see guys in front of you battling or guys behind you battling, you're loving it because you're going to be able to get away from them, or you're going to be able to catch them. So wonder if this is going to tighten back up. Right now they're spread out here. I'm going through the field and and see a Peter Harbor, he's pretty close there with Jess Voigt. I'm trying to see if there's any trucks really being able to draft together. The gaps are just at that point that it's not a lot of draft going on right now.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of just like a weird part of the race, honestly, is everybody's just spaced just far enough apart that nobody could really do anything with it. And the only thing you really can do at this point is just kind of ride this out until we get to our final pit stop, and just hope that you could link up with somebody to try to make your way towards the front in a late race charge.
Well, and there with it like this, the only good thing is if you want to save tires and you do it now, you might lose a little time in the beginning, but if you can find the line here that you can get a little bit faster later in the run, you might be able to close that gap there. But, just that stop on pit road through that 84, I mean, he was able to get in and off pit road really good. So that just shows you, even with the undercut, he was able to maintain the lead there.
Yeah, that was very impressive with that 84 team, looking good, and even if this 84 Josh Bittner can't win this race, but I'll tell you what, to come in first race and just kind of put your name right in the hat, why don't you? Because he has, he's been on a tear. I mean, this man started 12th. He's leading the race. He's up 11 spots from the start of this thing. I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah, he's showing the guys in the league, hey, I'm here to run. I'm ready to race. I'm here to compete. So, as a driver, I'm taking notice. Hey, this guy's is ready to run here.
Yeah, absolutely. And Caleb Elswick, he's probably not gonna, he had to come back down pit road and fix some of that damage, and he's not having the best race. But I'll tell you what, up to that point, I mean, he was up there with him too. So. Take note, the 66 to 84 team, throw them in the hat with the 88s of Nick Rader and the 5 of AJ DiMarzio and, all these other guys who have consistently run up the front. I mean, we're seeing now guys coming into this series and really, really right out of the gates making a name for themselves.
Yeah, and I'm just looking now, you were talking about Caleb Elswick. He came in on lap 44. If he had a fast repair, he might be able to make it to the end if he got fresh tires and a full tank of fuel there. He's going to be borderline being able to make it again without a stop. So with the time that he's going to be able to make up right now with that repair, last time by, yeah, let's wait and see what his lap time looks like this time by. He's going to be able to make up some time. If he can stay out, that's going to save him some time in the end too.
Yeah, it really will. And I mean, he was able to do everything and only lose a lap, which is pretty standard when pitting under green. So if he could find a way to get that lap back quick, get back on a lead lap, and have enough fuel. The question is if you're the leader and you know that, that is when you want to undercut, because you know that 66 is going to stay out. He's going to be slow towards the end of this thing. So that's something that, I'm sure that these guys, if they're not thinking about it yet, they will be come soon.
Well, and he's got Ernest King with him. The last time by, they ran a 40-20 for Ernest and a 40-15 for Caleb. So they're almost second and a half faster than the leader right now. So they're going to be gaining time over these laps, and if they can get one of their laps back here before the leaders pit again, this could be a cat and mouse game.
Yeah, it really could. Boy, I'll tell you what, that would be a crazy strategy. And honestly, for the 66, it would be just a strategy that you kind of just stumbled into, because I guarantee you, he was on the double pit strategy because he was coming down on lap 33 just to make that initial stop. So kind of something you just fall into if it goes to where it's going to work out.
Yeah, crew chief could have been on the box, with the calculator doing some math, and hey, wait a minute, we can get our damage fixed and get the fuel and make it to the end here. So, sometimes you never know what's going to happen. It could start off to be something bad, and then it turns into something good. And then there's all the times that you run up front all night long, and then just something happens, and you can't avoid it, and it turns into a bad night. So that's the thing here. It's never over until it's over. That's
Yeah, and that's why me personally, Mike, I love to see a race that stays green. I really do, because we could talk about strategy with cautions and whatnot, but I'll tell you what, there's no bigger strategy than when you're running a whole race under green, because everything is on fast forward. There are no cars under pace. So this is really where I think it really shows what kind of a crew chief you got, and also it really shows off your skill as a driver.
Yeah, and green flag runs, you're gonna have, with the 18 cars or 18 trucks in the field, you're going to have one guy that had the just right strategy and 17 that did not. So that's the thing. What happens this time may not happen next time. It's so many pieces in the puzzle that fall together, because, if you're running with somebody else this time by, and you pit at this lap, and next time you weren't drafting as much, it's going to change everything. So these guys, these drivers, their crew chiefs, they have to adapt every race, analyze what's going on the track, where they're running at, what other factors are coming into play, and what everybody else is doing, in order to try to maintain a little bit of an advantage there, to give yourself the opportunity to get up front to get the win. Which, right now, the guy on point, Josh Bittner, with that, I'm still amazed by that pit stop, and he's still walking away right now with his laps are consistently great as he comes by. Wasn't quite the fastest last time by, but he's laying down some laps, setting his pace here.
Yeah, he sure is. I mean, he is growing that lead. It's up over 3 seconds now, over Nick Rader, and AJ DeMarzo is still just too far back to link up with Nick and to try to get together so these guys can make a run at this guy. But I think if they're gonna beat him, it's gonna have to happen on pit road.
Yeah, and I'm interested to know, all the fans out there, please comment on YouTube. I'd like to know who you pulling for tonight. Who you think's going to have the best strategy out there? And while you're commenting, we'll tell them about the special giveaway we got there coming up, Steve.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe next week, I think from headquarters, we just learned today that we're going to be giving away a Butt Kicker Gamer 2 setup. And if you don't know what that is, basically, it's a device that you hook up to. It'll hook right up to a computer chair, actually, and it gives you the vibrations that you would, normally wouldn't feel in a wide variety of games. iRacing, I'll tell you what, Mike, we both have one of these setups, and the vibration you get from just running around the track in one of these, these race cars, boy, I'll tell you what, it is incredible, and we're going to give one away in a week's time. All you have to do is comment on the stream, share it out to your buddies, head on over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel, and that is how you get entered automatically. And we're just going to pick a name out of a hat next week, and we will be sending one of these bad boys off courtesy of Butt Kicker, our broadcast sponsor. So we definitely have to thank them for teaming up for this promotion, and it's really awesome. And I'll tell you what, this 84 truck, he is on point, and he is just blowing by everybody, looking really good, Mike, growing that lead. But we will have another pit stop as we start slowly seeing guys coming down pit road. And
Yeah, you're gonna start. You see them now coming down pit road.
we have
Maybe a little early, knowing that they got enough fuel to get to the end, and maybe trying to undercut.
We've got the 88 and the 5 down on pit road. AJ DeMarzo, Nick Rader, and they are going to come in. And I think, that right there is a great move for them, as they were running, second and third. They both come in at the same time. They both hit their boxes pretty much spot on perfect. And if they could get out, well, I'll tell you what, they're going to be a team that's going to be,
Mike Everidge into the wall a little bit there, trying to get to his box. They're slid just a little bit. The 88 and the 5 are going off together now, so I expect these two guys probably will try to run around each other, run together. I thought they were going to do it on the last cycle and use that draft to get some push up towards the front with the 84. And the 84 now was on pit road. He saw him come in, like, no, not undercutting me. I'm coming in as well.
Yep, which is going to cycle right now. Looks like Andrew Hefner is going to cycle back out to being your leader right now. And this is where it's going to get interesting. Very interesting, actually, because Caleb Elswick is coming up through the field. We talked about him earlier. Pitting on lap 44, making his way up through the field. He doesn't have to make a stop if he doesn't want to, but the problem is now everybody else is on fresh tires.
Oh, we just saw Ricky Hunter there take the lead there last lap by from Andrew Hefner. Just carried a little bit too much momentum through 3 and 4, make some contact with the wall. We're going to stay green, but he's definitely going to have some aero damage there in that Havoline machine.
Yeah, he sure is. And, with 22 laps to go, guys, if you're watching out on YouTube, let's go ahead. Let's start making some picks. Just throw a car number in there. Who do you like? I mean, we are kind of, in the middle of a pit stop, so probably a good time to just kind of throw a guess out there. And, Mike, for my pick, boy, I'll tell you what, it's crazy, and it's going to be hard to bet against him, but I'm going to go ahead with the 84, Josh Bittner, as my race pick tonight.
Yeah, great stop again on him. He still got out ahead of Raider and AJ DeMarzo there. So I think that's going to be a good pick. I'm going to stick, with my normal pick that I can't say the name. I have a feeling it's coming, and I'm just waiting for him, for it to work out for him. I'm going to stick with him week after week here.
That's it's good, and I mean, having a great run, and for those who don't know what we're talking about, we'll mention it after the checker flag drops in this thing, because we're really bad at jinxing people here at Evolution Racing Network. But right now, the way it looks like, the 79 of Ricky Hennard, who's grabbed the lead because Andrew Hefner's down on pit road. Him and Carlos Ramos, they're running 1-2, but those guys both need to make a pit stop. and it looks like it's going to cycle back out to being the 84, Josh Bittner, when these guys decide to come down pit road.
Yeah, last time pitting for the Ricky was the lap 36, lap 30 for Carlos, and then Bittner with 21 lap newer tires, as you see Ricky Hunter coming in now, and Carlos Ramos. That's going to cycle the lead back around. Should be Josh Bittner that will take the lead here, with Nick Rare will be running in second. Just Vault should come around to third. AJ DeMarzo should cycle to fourth, and Ricky Wettenberg should cycle to fifth.
Yeah, so cycling through our pit stops here. Still going to find Josh Bittner. He's back in the lead, where he, it's pretty much been a good portion of this race. I do believe, he will take home the award for leading the most laps. And if you're just tuning in, $25 to the race winner. So, not only do you want to come in here first race for Josh Bittner and make a name for yourself, but hey, if you could grab $25 on your way out the door, why not?
Well, at this point in the race, with the gap that he's got of over 3 seconds, if anybody's going to make a charge minus, a caution flag coming out here, they're going to have to work together. They're going to have to get together and say, hey, I'll slow up, let you catch up to me, just so we can get a pack together, because, that draft pack is going to make a huge difference, and they'll be able to start cutting the time down, as it looks like now Nick Raiders might have some help behind him. He does, as I suspected, AJ DeMarzo there, and the 55 machine of Ricky Wettenberg. So if they stick together and not battle, they should have a chance here to possibly run the leader down. As I say that right now, AJ goes by on the inside, bringing Ricky Wettenberg with him. He's going to slide right back up in front of Nick here, and that's going to leave Wettenberg there on the bottom as they go through 1 and 2. So these guys probably got to work together here. Just, hey, we'll work together now. We'll battle it out when we catch that guy at the end.
Yeah, and it's tough to just stay behind a guy, but you're right. I mean, if you're going to have any chance of catching this 84 team, because that lead just keeps on growing over 3.5 seconds now. I mean, you gotta put your pride in your pocket, and you got to go and get after it, because there's only 16 laps left in this thing. There's not a lot of time to close that type of gap.
Yeah, and he's still running, faster laps each time by, building that gap a little bit more and a little bit more, a little bit more. So, they're going to have to do something here. Group up, work together. All right, we'll battle it, with 5 to go, if they've got enough time to catch him now, because we're inside of 16 to go, coming to 15 to go this time by.
Yeah, it's oh boy, I'll tell you what, we are closing in on what should be a good finish, kind of no matter how it goes. We've seen AJ DeMarzo start on the pole, pretty much run up in the front. Nick Rader's been up there with him all night too, still hunching, searching for that, mysterious first victory on the year, but, doing a really good job, was able to, stay out of trouble. And the 84 team, though, but I'll tell you what, from the drop of the green flag, they have been in go mode. They started 12th, up 11 spots, lead most of the race, so you really can't discount their efforts here tonight.
No, and that 84, as I mentioned earlier, watching him during the first run, we had all 5 trucks running together there, and he just meticulously worked his way up through those 5 slowly. He figured out how the draft was working, and he knows what line to run here. He's just consistently putting down. He's staying up on the high side at 1 and 2, maintaining that momentum, just getting the truck far enough down to keep that momentum where he's not sliding up into the wall. And he's basically right now hitting his marks. Just setting out consistently good lap times, just maintaining the truck, not giving it too much wheel, binding the truck down, maintaining his speed. So, here we go. Coming this time by, he'll have 13 to go. So, and there's plenty of fuel there, so they don't have that worry, I'm sure.
Yeah, no worry about fuel. It's pretty much just go out there, run 13 qualifying laps, honestly, as you know, we are nearing the end, and Josh Bittner, first race with the series, come out and didn't qualify very good, honestly. I mean, started mid-pack and just drove that truck up to the front fairly early, and has been able to pretty much command this race, dictate how what guys are going to do what. And I'll tell you what, though, that pit crew on that 84, two of probably the best stops I've ever seen, Mike, and that's huge.
Yeah, pit road is such a huge thing. I've worked on mine for years and years and years, as long as I've been on the sim now, and it's a hard thing to perfect. But the guys that can get in and off pit road are so hard to beat because they don't lose any time there. It sets the stage now. I mean, AJ, pit last time, all their times are right there together, but it's just it seems like he just is able to get on and get off so well.
Yeah, it's been huge for that team all night, and we're starting to see a late push, but I think it's just going to be too little, too late. The 5 and the 88, just aren't going to have enough time. With 11 laps to go, I mean, they're all kind of running single file, working together. And, even though they are, Mike, it's still worth noting that our leader, Josh Bittner, is still running faster lap times than these guys. And that is just something incredible.
Yeah, it is. And that's, probably a lot of practice coming into here. Knowing, or a lot of experience coming this track is a huge thing. They're all running the same setup here. So, the guys that can just find that extra tenth or extra half tenth or even 1,000th of a second here lap after lap. 1,000th of a second is their 2,000s, 3,000s isn't a lot, but over 80 laps it builds up to be a lot of time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, with 10 laps to go, that 84 of Josh Bittner looking like they're going to be bringing home the bacon here tonight, unless don't count out a late race caution, folks, because we are caution free in this whole race. I mean, this is, 2 weeks in a row, Mike. I mean, last week we went caution free, and this week, we're seeing the similar. So these guys, I'll tell you what, out of all the leagues that we cover, Mike, I'll tell you what, I don't see a group of guys that practice as much as these guys, and it really shows out there on the track come race day.
Yeah, it does. And you talk about a demanding schedule and a changing schedule, road courses, short tracks, a mile and a half. And they mix it up because next week, I believe it's Sonoma, if I looked at that correctly. So they're going to go right back to road course racing next week. So I love the way they mix it up here. But now we're, eight to go this time by. Josh Bittner is your leader. Second is Ricky Wettenberg. Third is AJ DiMarzio. Fourth is Nick Rader. Fifth is Jess Vault. Sixth is Mike Everidge. 7 is George Rincon. 8th is Peter Harbor. 9th is Kelly Cool. 10th is Ernest King. 11th is Caleb Elswick. 12th is Andrew Hefner. 13th is Carlos Ramos. 14th is Ricky Hennard. 15th is Dave Mayberry. 16th is Kelly Potter. 17th is Cornelius Brown. And rounding out the field, 18th is Robert McMillan Jr.
So that is the way they stand right now with 7 laps to go. 84 Josh Bittner still looking on a good lead. He's got a little over 4.5 second gap over AJ DiMarzio and Nick Rader. And I'll tell you what, that 84 team, watch out. We will have to try to pick his brain a little bit about road courses because we've kind of getting a mixed bag of feelings, Mike, this season when it comes to road courses. Some guys like them, some guys hate them, and we're gonna tackle the next one next week when we head to Sonoma.
Yeah, and the battle looks like in the closing laps are going to be for the second position here between AJ DiMarzio, Nick Rader, and Ricky Wettenberg, who's also a newcomer, who's had a great run here tonight as well. He's making his name known here as well. So, this is going to be a heating up battle here with 6 to go, 5 to go next time at the line. So I expect them to start battling, probably 2 or 3 to go here.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the 88 and Nick Rader, why not? If you know you can't win the race, at least try to grab second, help yourself out in points. I mean, because AJ's got a ton of wins on the season, so he's your current points leader. So if you're that 88 team, and heck, if you're that 55 Ricky Wettenberg, first race out of the gates, boy, I'll tell you what, I know he wants to get up there for a podium finish.
Well, there's your top 2 in points right there as they run. As AJ DeMarzo and Nick Rader are number 1 and 2. George Rincon is your number 3 in points right now. So, 1 point might not seem like a lot for one race, but it can make up a world of difference.
Yeah, especially now, Mike. I mean, we're starting to, we're over the hump in the schedule. We're past the halfway mark, so we're on that downward slope to a championship here. As we're starting to close in, and we've got a ton of interesting tracks. We have next week Sonoma. There's Bristol Dirt on the schedule. There's iRacing Super Speedway. That is going to be probably the most interesting race we call this year, Mike, because of the way the track is designed. We see a lot of guys, kind of running fun races there. You typically don't see it on an actual series schedule, but we'll be going there this year. So a lot of tracks that have question marks next to them. So the races that you could go out and get points like this, it's going to pay huge dividends for you.
Yeah, you talk about iRacing Super Speedway. I've run a couple races there, and the draft there was insane. So I've run a couple there. I have not broadcasted there yet. We're about to get that done, though, in a couple weeks. So I'm interested to see how that's going to work out. I have not run these trucks around there yet. I run the Cup cars around there, and the draft is, Daytona and Talladega's draft, it didn't even compare to what it was by then. I'm not sure how iRacing has changed the setups and the packages and the draft model since then and how it's going to affect that track. But just from the experience I've had there, it's you can be in third and, by the corner, you're in the lead by 2 car lengths. It's in single file, not just a huge draft package like you see at Daytona and Talladega.
Absolutely. As popsicle sticks will be in the air for the 84 Josh Bittner. Very, very impressed by this 84 team, and they, nailed it on pit road. They didn't start, we mentioned didn't qualify great. We were able to drive up through the field, and that 84 team has to be awful proud here tonight as Josh Bittner will come out and grab your white flag, sponsored by DeMarzo Gears here tonight, Mike, and one more lap around.
Yeah, one more lap to go. He's got this in the bag, but right now the battle is between AJ DeMarzo and Nick Rader. Rader was able to take it last time by 3 and 4. AJ DeMarzo went right back down to the bottom there and is trying to retake it back with a slide job. See if Rader tries the same thing in 3 and 4 here. They're just exchanging blows back and forth. And talk about another guy new to the league running really well, and that's the 55 machine of Ricky Wittenberg behind him. AJ's going to say, nope, I get to the bottom here on 3 and 4 this time by. He kind of knew the move, made a good counter move there, trying to secure his position. Oh, a little contact between the 88 and the 55. The 88 is going to get to the grass. Oh, a little sideways. He's going to come across the line sideways there. But, what a great run for Bittner. AJ DeMarzo was going to be second, and Ricky Wittenberg's going to rank out top 3.
Absolutely. And, we had our eyes on the race leader as they come across the line, but we're going to go back and take a look at that battle here for a second as, they come across the line here. As the 88 team, just a little bump and run there.
It looked like it's just a little, as we always say, they're both battling over the same piece of real estate there, and just a little bit of contact there, and that's what happens. A little contact, a little side by side, a little too close. This term we use, net code, might be a factor there too, but As you mentioned, just looking at this 84 machine and the run and the pit road, and just the way he was able to manage this race tonight was outstanding.
Yeah, very, very great job out of that 84 team. They got to be super stoked to come in here, grab a win. First race in this thing, and we'll definitely get his reaction as he's going to burn down here in Michigan. I mean, heck, you're going to bring a totally different package to the road course, so I say tear it on up, and that's exactly what they are doing. And he's got a couple of teammates out there. The 01's going to have a little fun. 33 going to have a little fun with them, all teammates, and why not smoke them up, blow them motors. Next week we take her on down to Sonoma.
Yeah, that's the fortunate thing with the sim. You ain't got to worry about the motors. It ain't going to cost you nothing. Go ahead and blow them up. You get another one next week.
That's it. Well, folks, we've had a great race. We've seen the 84 team, Josh Bittner, put on a show, and we're going to talk to your top three. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, your top three podium finishers. Don't go anywhere.
I started Folds of Honor above my garage 13 years ago because 90% of spouses and children of killed or disabled U.S. service members receive no federal education assistance. Our mission has never wavered. We honor their sacrifices by educating their legacy.
Thank you for supporting the Folds of Honor.
Thank you for supporting the Fold of Honor.
Thanks to you, I will be a construction engineer.
An elementary school teacher.
Thank you for helping me fulfill my dream of going to med school.
We're able to award these scholarships because patriots like you refuse to turn your back on the cost of freedom. Join the Folds of Honor Squadron today. Your $13 a month will help ensure we never turn military families away. This is your call to duty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for supporting the Folds of Honor.
Thanks to people like you, I know my dad is not forgotten.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back in, Sim Racing fans. Michigan International Speedway, where we just seen the 84 team of Josh Bittner bring home a victory in his first start with this series. And Mike, let's jump right into it. And kind of getting lucky there at the end, making a little contact with the 88 Nick Rader, and was able to weasel home in a third spot. And I do believe, Mike, you're with third place finisher Ricky Wettenberg.
Hey, Ricky, this is Michael and Steve up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, congratulations tonight on the top three finish there. Watched the very beginning of the race. You're up front, top four, top five, a lot of shuffling there. You're towards the top four, top five. Pit cycles, did a good job of maintaining with those guys. And then that last run there, you were able to stick with AJ DeMarzo there and the 88 of Nick Rader and get a good run there towards the end to come home in third. How was the truck tonight?
And it was good. I've not had a lot of practice lately, so when I caught them, I was trying to be very careful and not get a run on the inside and take somebody out. So I think I had a little more speed in my truck at the end, but I was afraid that I would run out of talent.
Well, I mean, you did an amazing job. This is your debut, the first time I've seen you in the league here, and to come out and run like you did with the top three finish. It's a great job. I mean, it sums it up. You were able to maintain your truck tonight. And next week, a little different story. We're talking Sonoma. How do you like Sonoma, and how you feeling about going into there?
And I used to run road. Some of the road racing series on iRacing a long time ago, and I just kind of got back into it. Not had any practice there lately, so I guess I need to need to get some laps in and see how the truck handles there. I know that they don't stick quite like a road racing car does.
No, they're quite a bit different. I do a little dabbling there on the roadside. Not a lot of experience, but a little practice here. I'm sure with your road course experience, you'll be okay there. And right now is the point in time we give you the microphone. Let me give you a shout out, your thank yous to anybody, your sponsors, etc. that you want, and the microphone is all yours.
No, man, I appreciate that. I just like to thank my team, Vigilante Racing. We try to race as a team and have fun and support each other. So we feel like if one of us wins, we all win. So happy to see Josh take home the win tonight, and appreciate the broadcast and the league invite, and look forward to racing with you all some more.
Well, hopefully we get a chance to talk to you again. Great debut for you here tonight. Good luck to you going into Sonoma, and hopefully we get a chance to talk to you again soon.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, that was your third place finisher, Ricky Wettenberg, and right out of the gates, bam, third place finish. Has a little bit of road racing experience, Mike. So we'll see if he could bring that experience and kind of put it in a stock car mentality and see what he could do next week at Sonoma.
Yeah, that's a note I'm definitely taking down. Keep an eye on him. With some road racing experience, and you heard him. I mean, that's a great show of respect there. He was talking about, he didn't want to put the truck in a situation that could cost other people there. That's a great thing to see in a league. People that come into the league want to see how people run and not just put the truck in a bad situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's see if we can't get a guy that we seem to talk to just about every week on the horn, and that's going to be second place finisher. Hey, AJ, Steve and Mike up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, how you guys doing?
Hey, we're doing all right, AJ. You must be feeling pretty good after a second place finish. I'm sure you wanted to go out there and tack up another win, but walk us through that race. Walk us through that final pit stop. You and Nick go down at the same time, and me and Mike kind of were talking about it up here in the booth that we thought if you guys could link up, could possibly make a charge at that 84. Come up a little short there, but just walk us through that race and tell us how it was for you.
That was the plan at the end there, but it seemed like whether I was behind Nick or Nick was behind me, we'd get each other loose, and it wouldn't be any good. And he got little bit loose, and that 55 truck was right there, so I had to go below him and get by him. But in all, it was a good race. Congrats to Josh, and it was fun. Little tight there at the end, but it was fun.
Yeah, that's something you'll see, especially at a track like Michigan. You never really know what kind of aero package you're getting with when you jump into the draft. But we changed gears once again, like we have many times this season. We're back to a road course next week, going to Sonoma. You've showed that you can run good on a road course. So how do you feel about next week?
I've been practicing different setups, and the setup that they say we're going to run, it's terrible for me. But I mean, if everybody's got to run the same thing, then we're all in the same boat. But we'll see. Just a lot of practice, and see how it goes. Absolutely,
Nick. Well, before we let you go, enjoy this second place finish here tonight, and note that you will retain the points lead. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
I'd like to thank all my teammates at RKR and 3 Wide, and you guys for the show on for us. DeMarzo's Gear is my company, and that's about it. Everybody have a good night.
All right, AJ, go enjoy this second place, and we'll see if we can't catch up with you next week at Sonoma.
All right, thank you. See you guys.
All right, second place finisher, AJ DeMarzo, and the train continues, Mike. Honestly, I mean, if he ain't winning it, he's running up there in the top 5. Even though you just heard him, wasn't super thrilled about the setup going into Sonoma. But I'll tell you what, this is a guy that and we've been watching him, for 10 plus races now. Go out there and just figure it out. So I'm sure we'll be talking with him next week. At Sonoma, and I'm sure he's going to get that thing figured out because he has incredible talent.
Yeah, he's got incredible talent, Mister Consistent, and week after week after week. And as you mentioned, that's why he's your points leader. If he's not winning the race, he's there contending pretty much week after week. Um, but just one short tonight of where he wanted to be. But I'm ready to get the guy from his celebration, get a few words, and even here get a talk to Josh Whitner here. I mean, excuse me, but Josh Bittner here.
Josh Bittner, I do believe he's still running laps out on the track. But we're going to see if we can talk to him, Mike, and I do believe you have him now.
Hey, Josh, this is Mike and Steve on the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, I hate to take you away from your celebration here, but get a few words in with you. Great run tonight. We watched you from the beginning. I was watching you in the very first run. You were just methodically working your way up in that draft, getting yourself in position up towards the front. And then when you got in the lead, just a great series of pit stops. People undercutting the pits, and you were still able to get out and maintain, that far enough ahead to cycle to the leader. Second cycle, you got a good jump. And the third cycle, you just pulled away. How was the truck here tonight?
Yeah, I think you really got it on the head there, Mike. I was talking with my teammates at Vigilante Racing. Ricky Wettenberg was running a couple spots behind me, and I want to say it was the 88 truck. He was about 3 seconds behind me on that first cycle, and I saw him duck in the pits, and instead of going another, I think I wanted to go 10 laps more or 7 laps more, and instead of going that extra distance to try and stretch it as much as I could, I wound up just opting the pit, and so I wouldn't get undercut. And I'd say that I was telling my teammates too in our voice chat that was probably the greatest pit stop I've ever pulled off on iRacing during a green flag run. The second stop really was pretty good too, and I was able to keep that lead. And I think that's really important here, because otherwise, if you get behind somebody, you're going to burn your tires up trying to pass them on the bottom. And these guys here all seem to really get the understanding that, or as the race went on, that you got to pass on the outside if you want to pass somebody here.
Yeah, this track is so difficult to master, and as you mentioned, we watched you on pit road both times, and just the way you were able to get in and off of pit road tonight, really after you built that gap the first time, and then when I watched those guys come in the second time, I watched you come in the next lap, and I made the comment, and I said, Josh said, "Oh no, you're not undercutting me tonight because I'm coming in right behind you." You took that, that chance for them to have an advantage there for a few laps right away from them, and man, did it pay off for you tonight. Your debut here tonight, and you showed the guys you're here to race. You're here, you mean business, and it was exciting to watch you run up to the field and just do what you did tonight. But next week, complete different thing. We're going to Sonoma. How do you feel about road courses, and how do you feel about Sonoma?
Well, can't say it's my strongest track on iRacing, but you know what? I can't say I've raced trucks on it before, so who knows? Maybe I can pull off my best Chase Elliott impression. But I'm really looking forward to the challenge that Sonoma brings. It's definitely a really tight and hilly course that really might I think I might benefit from in these trucks. I like how they handle compared to such as the Cup cars or the Xfinity cars. I think the trucks are the most fun stock car to drive in this sim. So it would be a good challenge on the road course.
Yeah, I agree with you with the trucks. They're probably the funnest thing to drive as far as the NASCAR side of things in the sim. But right now is a point in time that we give you the microphone, give you little shout outs, thank yous, your sponsors, your team, whoever you want to thank. The microphone's all yours.
Well, thank you. I'd just like to first always thank my teammates at Vigilante Racing for bringing me aboard. This was, don't want to say last minute, but they all joined and they convinced me that I should join. So our team leader, Jess Vaught, you got Ricky Wettenberg, David Mayberry, Kelly Kuehl. Those guys all really great teammates to have and in my corner. And they were really helpful as the race went on, and just how they were able to pass people, or they were just letting me know which guys were or how other people were driving, and that information and who's pitting was very valuable, and I appreciate their input. I guess since my dog is on my deck lid, I always have to give a props to my dog Harley, who I'm sure if she was watching the broadcast, she'd appreciate it, but she's upstairs sleeping tonight. My friends Nick and Evan, they're probably watching this broadcast somewhere. So yeah, just a lot of good support, a lot of help with me tonight, getting this 84 truck to Victory Lane.
Yeah, teamwork is so valuable, just the information, but congratulations again. We're going to let you go celebrate some more. Hopefully we'll be talking to you, again soon. And once again, great performance here tonight.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, that was your race winner, Josh Bittner, that 84 truck, who was still out there burning down the Michigan International Speedway here, Mike. I'll tell you what, why the heck not? Great effort. That team did really good, and he'll be able to take that big check with $25 written on it to the bank here tonight, because he was able to win in a great fashion, and we'll see what he could bring to the table next week when we go to road course.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how next week, he talks about the trucks, and I agree with him. The trucks on the road course are fun. Road courses are different, complete another animal here on this service, especially in the stock car or in the truck type running. But I'm still just floored at how good of a good run he had here tonight on his debut, and those pit stops, really got me thinking here tonight.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. But let's take a look at our official race results for tonight's race from Michigan International Speedway. Coming home with the win, you just heard from the 84 of Josh Bittner. In second, AJ DeMarzo in that 5. Third, newcomer Ricky Wettenberg in the 55. Jesse Vaught in the 33. Fifth will be Nick Rader in the 88. Sixth will be Trip 4, Peter Harbour. Seventh will be Mike Everidge in that 82. Eighth, George Rincon in the 28. And ninth will be Kelly Cool in 01.
10th will be Andrew Hefner in the 46. 11th goes to Caleb Elswick in the number 66. Carlos Ramos brings home the number 90 and 12th. Ernest King, 13th in the number 24. 14th is Dave Mayberry in the number 37. 15th is Kelly Potter in the number 68. 16th is Ricky Hennard in the number 79. 17th is Cornelius Bryan in the number 98. And rounding out the field is Robert McMillan Jr. in the number 7.
And that will be the way they finish here tonight, Mike. And I'll tell you what, I'm stoked for next week. I mean, I kind of wish it was coming up here a little sooner, but we're getting back to an interesting part of the schedule here, where we've talked about, we've got iRacing Super Speedway, we've got short tracks. Next week we go to Sonoma. I mean, it's gonna be just like every other road course race we call, where these guys won't have any cautions to kind of help them. So these guys, and they do an incredible job every week, but they're just going to have to go out there and run a lot of practice.
Yeah, I love the mix, as I call it, the mixed bag on the schedule. Every type of track that's available, that the NASCAR series runs, these guys run it, and it's not like you got 2 or 3 road courses, right there together. So many mile and a halfs right there together. They mix it up. You go from one extreme to another, and I love it. Keeps the drivers on their toes, and it just shows the well-roundedness of these guys that they've got in this field.
Yeah, absolutely. And we want to give a huge thank you to DeMarzo Gears, your league sponsor, for the 3 Wide Racing Esports League. If you need any sort of race car, rear ends, gears, look them up. DeMarzo Gears, 661-212-3389. DeMarzo Gears. Give them a call. Give them some business. They do a great job. And we want to thank Butt Kicker and Folds of Honor that sponsor our broadcast here right at Evolution Racing Network. Coming up later this week, Saturday night, Wallbangers Racing Truck Series. You'll have myself and Ryan Ezel up in the booth calling all the action there. And next week, we'll be at Sonoma. So for Michael Sheffield, I'm Steve Kerpel. Thanks for tuning in. Give us a subscribe, a like, Facebook, YouTube. And until then, we'll see you on the next one.